Hey everyone, Tracy here with another $1 million tip. Watch your appearance. There's a few times in being a business manager and owner that actually I find great humor. One of them is when I attempt to hire another staff member, technician, even another manager. What's funny about this? Well, I would say about 1 in 4 people show up to interviews so inappropriately dressed that it's comical. I've had people show up in sweatpants and blue jeans trying to be an upper level management. I've had people show up that didn't even look like they combed their hair that morning show up to be a technician. I could go on and on about horror stories that I've seen on people who didn't even know how to dress appropriately to go through an interview. Now, if they can't dress for an interview when they know they're trying to impress someone, how do you think if you were to hire that person, they would dress when they're showing up for work and meeting your customers? There are certain principles in business that you have to adhere to. I hear a lot of managers make the mistake when they come up to me, "Yeah, Tracy, but you don't understand. They're a real hard worker. You know, yeah, they don't look the best and they don't smell the best, but they work real hard." Trust me, perception is reality in the customer's world. If the customer perceives them as stinky and ugly, and not ugly necessarily, but having real poor appearance, nothing that person's going to be able to do is going to impress them the way that I believe that you want your restoration and cleaning company to be impressive. That didn't sound right. Try again. If you can't hire someone that has the correct appearance, okay, back up, Clint. I'm going to back up to where I told, when I hear managers argue with me, okay? I hear all the time where managers come to me and say, "Yeah, but Tracy, you don't understand. This person is a hard worker. They work all the time. They show up early. They're always getting a lot accomplished." The problem with this philosophy is if they don't look good and have the proper professional appearance for your restoration company, they're hurting your restoration company. Perception is reality in the customer's world. So you always have to think of that when you're hiring someone. There has to be certain principles that you stick to. One of them is they have to dress professionally, they have to be clean cut, they have to look good and look the part of what you're hiring for. How do you do this? Simple. 4 steps you can follow that I do every morning, and quite honestly, usually before I go out on a job, I'll walk through these just to make sure I'm in place. Stop and look in a mirror. When you take a second to look at yourself, you'll know that if you got hair out of place, which isn't a problem for me, obviously, but you'll know if that's going on, or if you, well, I'll give you an example. It's actually a humorous story. I had a fire technician go from one fire to the next. They showed up and they must have had something in their eye, but they wiped their face with their hand that had black soot all over it, and you could see a big handprint running down their cheek. I guarantee if they looked in the mirror, they might have noticed that. Personal hygiene. I can't believe I even have to bring this up, but I'm always surprised at the amount of people who have body odor or bad breath and don't seem to mind. Make sure you're checking your personal hygiene. Your vehicles. You run a cleaning and restoration company. Don't you think it's critical that the outside of your vehicle is shiny clean? That's your billboard. That's your reputation driving down the road. Make sure it's to your professional standard. And, of course, your tools and equipment. I had the pleasure of going in and doing an estimate for a large commercial company. walked in and the maintenance people were there, and I was actually supposed to work with them to get the cleaning. First thing I did is ask them to go show me the equipment they were using. They pulled some vacuums out of the closet that I wouldn't let touch my carpet. What I mean by that is it was filthy, dusty, dirty, grimy, and the mop buckets were the same way. If your equipment and your tools are not clean, how can you expect to get anything clean with them? So, follow these 4 principles. Remember, you're the professional. I always am surprised at the amount of people who say they want to be treated like a professional restoration company, but they don't show up looking like a professional restoration company. Think of it this way. Would you hire an attorney to represent you in a high-powered case if he showed up in a sweatshirt and blue jean shorts and flip-flops? I don't think so. Dress for what you are trying to accomplish. I'm not saying show up in a tuxedo, although I guarantee you'd be remembered. Dress appropriately for what you're trying to accomplish, and stop and think. So that's your tip. Watch your appearance. I hope it helps you make some more money. Have a great day.